Traerle de vuelta.
¿De vuelta a la vida?
Su mayor deseo era conocerte.
¡Por el diente de Zadar! ¿Cómo has...?
No lo sé, empezó sin más.
¡Aguanta!
¿Papá?
Solo...
Well, I think it was a wonderful experience for me to get to exercise my own personal feelings during this 6 years. It can be hard at times, but I always had the support of the fellow crew and even the studio, and of course Kori in that time, and a lot of the people on the film shared their own personal stories, which made me feel really supported and not necessarily alone in the situation, which my hope is that's what it does for audiences too, is that they see themselves and their own family experience in the movie and feel that bond. Certainly there has been a lot of Pixar and Disney films over the years about parents lost. I think that's because it's a fear of a lot of us. Parents are rock a lot of the time, and it can be a tough thing to go through, and sadly a lot of kids do have to go through it early, like myself. So I think it's an important thing to put out there for kids. I think it's an important topic for animation to discuss, because it's a safe place that kids can see themselves and see the experience and ask questions. Yeah, he hugged me and quietly whispered in my ear, "I thought there'd be more unicorns in it." Where are all the garbage unicorns that are on the posters? No, it was great, and he's been really open and vulnerable since then in a really sweet way, which I think is one wonderful thing about the movies. It shows men, brothers, in a more vulnerable relationship where they're open to talk about their feelings, and you don't see that a lot, and I think it's important that we not always show brothers punching each other and getting each other in headlocks, and that we show that you can have a conversation, you can tell each other that you love each other, and I think it's really important.
Well, I think, once we knew that we wanted to find a way to bring the father back, we knew that we had to use we wanted to use magic. There might have been other ways to do it, but magic is kind of romantic, and so we wanted to use magic, which led to fantasy. And then but we didn't want to necessarily tell kind of a high fantasy, old-fashioned or old-timey world, and so we chose modern because the story is modern. The story of the brothers is kind of modern. So then we just figured out how to kind of juxtapose those two things, put fantasy in with modern that kind of looks like our world, and but it was fun. We were able to have centaurs and satyrs and unicorns all kind of living in what looks like a modern world, and so we were able to have fun with that and go on this crazy adventure. Oh yeah, the fellowship, is that, yeah?
Well, we did have the fellowship, which was just amongst our own story artists and artists in the studio who helped us find just kind of classic references to fantasy, since Kori and I weren't huge fantasy fans when we began, and they would help come up with Easter eggs and hidden moments for references in fantasy films.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think for us, we really just wanted, because we were telling this modern fantasy world, we really just wanted it to represent our world and have it kind of reflect the diversity that we see in our world. So it's more like kind of natural. It wasn't like you know, a huge point, or it wasn't the main characters were who they were. So
yeah, just to really flesh out the world and have the world feel like our world, you know, was you know, the thinking behind. Yeah, we love the world. It was such a joy to create, and so many things that didn't make it in the movie. Luckily, there are other things coming out. There's a Quest of Your game that's going to come out that we were all involved in, and that will go a little deeper. There's a graphic novel that's coming out and that myself and Rico Tamaki wrote, and it's a prequel to the movie. So it's the story of the Manticore back in the old days, 800 years ago. So that, I think, also has a little richer look in it. And it was fun to tell a story in that world without Ian and Barley, but it still has wizards and the rules of magic that we created for this film. It was fun to go deeper, and I think for fans of the movie, they'll really enjoy it.
Puedes hacerlo.